So last session, what we looked at was diseases caused by viruses. Viruses are non-living, and like all things. And I'm going to start every biology lesson by saying this: there is a lot to learn from biology, for content in biology, and your job is to actually learn all that content. Now, one thing I've said to you is, oh God, I haven't said it to you guys. I think it was year 10 or 11 I was talking to. I love drawing. Drawing's one of the coolest things I used to love doing when I was younger. So a lot of things I learnt by drawing. And one of the things I used to draw was mind maps. But we'll get to it as you get older. The biggest issue you've got as year sevens is learning all the words and the language around biology. And that's what we're going to do. And the most important way of doing that is answering questions. Now, that sounds really self-evident. And I make the question slightly harder. You have to, if you are stuck, is go back to the information I've given you. And I've kind of shrunk it down. Not only that, I've given you keywords. All right, so the keywords today, the first was bacteria. They live everywhere. They live out in the world, on your car, in your mouth, on your head, inside your body. Bacteria are everywhere. And one lesson we looked at was there are good and bad bacteria. And to be honest, we kind of focus more on the bad bacteria because it's a bit more of a problem. And I'm not a great one for that in terms of, oh my God, bacteria are so bad. But if we're careful and we look after ourselves, they really don't do much damage to us. All right. Bacteria produce toxins. These are poisons. They are a pathogen, which means a living thing that causes a disease. An infection is when they get inside you, right? An antibiotic is a medicine that kills bacteria. Now, you could. An antibiotic is specific for bacteria. It cannot stop viral diseases. One of the biggest concerns we have is what we call antibiotic resistance. Some bacteria are now starting to not be affected by antibiotics. One of the interesting things is hygiene. A simple thing like washing your hands reduces the chance of you getting an infection. Food poisoning, I've had that, I've got it, I've had it this week. I don't know how I got it. I think it was cheesecake that was badly made. And it was an Oreo cheesecake. And I think I picked up some food poisoning from it. It is bacteria that produces toxins that cause you to vomit and have diarrhea. Bacteria reproduce, and they reproduce fast. The term prevention means, well, how do you stop it? Or how do you reduce, prevention is more like, how do you stop, how do you reduce the chance of being infected? Okay, so how bacteria make you ill? They are living cells and they reproduce very fast. To give you an idea, inside us, they can double every 20 minutes. And if you look at humans, we double every 25 years. All right? The poisons or toxins they produce damage our cells, and that's what makes you feel unwell. Now, you have an immune system. Your immune system is really good at dealing with bacteria, but sometimes what happens is those bacteria, especially if you're little, and you're quite small, but I'm generally talking one of the biggest killers of under 5-year-olds is a bacteria called cholera. All right. So examples of bacterial diseases. The most common one is salmonella. This causes food poisoning. All right. It comes from uncooked or contaminated food. Symptoms: you get high temperature, fever, vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. Spread by eating undercooked meat or poor food hygiene. Prevention: cook food well, wash hands, clean surfaces. All right. Gonorrhea is another bacterial disease and it's sexually transmitted. Okay. Symptoms: pain when urinating and a yellow or green discharge. Spread by sexual contact, and the way to prevent it is condoms and medical treatment. Okay. Now, the other key thing is antibiotics and resistance. Antibiotics kill bacteria. They damage the cell wall. So if you think of a bacteria as very small, it's got a cell wall, the antibiotics damage those cell walls. Viruses do not have those kind of cell walls, so they do not work on viruses. If you use or overuse antibiotics, and some farmers give it to the cows just in case, the bacteria they will mutate and change and become resistant. The most common, the most famous one is MRSA. All right. MRSA is a bacteria that is, now very hard to control, and it kills people. All right. Now, how to prevent? Wash hands regularly, store and cook food safely. Use antibiotics only when the doctor gives them to you. Right. The big one for me is, I'm always out and about. I'm either up mountains or doing something exciting, falling off bikes and things like that, and I get cut. I like to work. I like to work in the house, work in the garden, use power tools, use saws, use hammers, and I get injured. And one of the most horrific things to do is when you get a cut is to clean it out. But you must. All right. Okie dokie, darlings. You've got 10 easy questions, 10 medium questions. Now, as per usual,